I picked August because other than my birthday, there are no official holidays. It's true. And I picked the 25th. I love that number, and it sort of aligns with the 25th of another month where people think about, giving ideas. So back in 1996, I was still at the Agape, woo, flying things. There's my tithe, flying and appreciating. When I was serving at the Agape International Center for Spiritual Living, they have a magazine called Inner Visions. And I was one of the founding writers and contributors for that. And so that was where I launched Appreciation Day. This is a copy, I did tweak it a bit, but this is a copy of the first, the inaugural Appreciation Day piece. There are copies for you out there. Should you so desire, it's on lavender, to match my lavender gingham shirt. Now, the reason for that is, if you remember, or were here at the top of the month, and I know many of you weren't because it is Chico and summer and you go places, that I'm wearing gingham in honor of my Pollyanna because how can you not be glad in gingham? In addition to the fact it's alliterative, when you see gingham, don't you just feel kind of happy and smile? So I am wearing my gingham purple shirt, and you have this if you want, and this tells you about Appreciation Day, and it has an affirmation at the end. So the idea being that it is Appreciation Day, and we get to appreciate. Later on they came up with that, and I don't know, they had a better press agent than I did. They came up with that random act of kindness thingy. That seemed to catch on a lot more than mine, but that's okay. That's okay, because in some ways, I didn't want Appreciation Day to be commercial, because that kind of defeats the whole purpose of the thing. And at the same time, yes, my ego wanted ooh, Appreciation Day, who created that? Oh, me? Oh, no. Yes! Yes, it was. It is and shall always be. And the idea being that if we can move ourselves to a consciousness and an activity and expression of appreciation, we are participating in a very deep spiritual principle of we're praising and raising. And if, as it says in the dictionary, that appreciation increases monetary value, we know that appreciation increases spiritual value. We know that as we appreciate someone or something, it begins to blossom. It's like water on a dry plant. You start to pour appreciation on someone, and then they just start to sparkle and expand, and the world changes. So this is officially August 25th. This is the 17th annual Appreciation Day, and I was really excited that it fell on a Sunday because I hadn't had a chance to share that with this community since I've been here. Ashley Montague writes, "The world is so full of wonderful things. We should all, if we were taught how to appreciate, be far richer than kings." The world is filled with wonderful things, and if we were taught how to appreciate it, we would be richer. Our appreciation, our value would increase if we were taught that. But I think sometimes what happens about appreciation is it gets in this basket of a mixture of confusion about if we appreciate, and especially if we accept the appreciation, then we're being egocentric. That I was taught, I don't know about you guys, I was taught it's better to give than receive. So you have to give that, and what we know as spiritual beings is we have to allow a receiving process as well as a giving, which means as we go throughout today's talk and you go throughout today appreciating, so that as you're appreciating people, places, and things, you better be aware that somebody's going to come right back at you and appreciate you, and you have to be in a place to go, oh, no, oh, this old thing, no, or really, you think that, no, I'm just, how many of us discount every time we get a compliment? Come on, fess up. How many, right? Oh, even Emmett. It's not just a female thing. There's a guy thing, and you say something, I know of other people really close by. When I say something like, you look so handsome in that, no.
What was she talking about?
So what we must do in order for the spiritual law of appreciation to take effect is it has to be the same thing about giving and receiving, the law of circulation. So as I give and appreciate, appreciate, love, love, love. I must receive, appreciate, oh, really, ooh, I don't know. Yes, yes, we must. We must be able to say thank you as much as we want to say, oh, you look fabulous today, or that was a great job. We must have the ability to have both sides of that coin that appreciates in value. Voltaire writes, appreciation is a wonderful thing. It makes what is excellent in others belong to us as well. Oh, you like that. Oh, good. Okay. Did you appreciate that? Yes. Thank you. I'll read it again. Appreciation is a wonderful thing. It makes what is excellent in others belong to us as well. I like that. Doesn't that take some of that edge off so that you feel a little more permission or even maybe a goose to want to go and appreciate something because you know that that beautiful thing that you're appreciating, the artwork or the fashion or the flowers, that as I appreciate all of that, I become one with it. I might even closely be able to look as fashionable as Connie, or perhaps draw as well as Christine, or nah, ain't going into the garden or the kitchen. Ain't gonna happen. I don't mind taking an art class or going to the mall shopping, but I draw the line at garden and kitchen. So we get the opportunity every day of the year, but today we can spotlight it to activate that spiritual principle of appreciation. Now, many of you remember back, I guess it's about 10 years or so ago, Masaru Emoto, the gentleman who wrote Messages in Water. How many have read that? Oh, good. Well, what he was saying was that our bodies are 60% water and 70% water in our brains. Don't even go there. Chemically or organically and biologically, we're filled with a lot of water. And if you take the simple concept of what Dr. Emoto said, which is that he noticed the molecules in water, for those of you who aren't familiar with his study, he took the molecules of water and he began to project words onto them, feelings. There was a part of it that he projected negative words, feelings, hate, war, violence, guilt, etc., on water molecules. On other water molecules, it was love and joy and gratitude. And then he took photographic examples to break down the molecules, and you could see the difference in the two of them, much like the study back in the 60s or 70s about plants. When you played beautiful music and loved them, they prospered, they flourished. The water molecules that had the just written on the container of the water, not even somebody standing over it going, ew, you're awful. There were words written on it. The negative words changed the molecular structure of the water cell, just the same as the wonderful words that were on the vessels that contained the water, where it said love, peace, joy, gratitude. Those molecules began to look like snowflakes when they took the photos. It was a gorgeous, tangible, physical, both, all of that example into one. So I bring that up today because if we're mostly water, and I think we are, holding spirit holding a big case of water, then as we appreciate, as we appreciate who we are, each of us, if we think about at the very least, our water molecules are doing the little happy dance when we acknowledge an appreciation. Then the charge becomes that we have got to begin to appreciate ourselves and not wait for someone else to see how fabulous we are, that every time we pass the mirror, instead of, oh my gosh, oh, the gray, the wrinkles, the whatever, instead it's, how beautiful you are today. And so when you pass the mirror, you get to say, what I have been trying to teach you for 5 years, how may I love you today? Oh, very different energetic, isn't it? So we have to no, we don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. You can just listen to all this and it goes, or you can go, well, that makes sense, and you can try it. I am encouraging you to try out this concept of appreciation for the world around you and for yourself, and not always for the obvious ones. It's really easy to appreciate your loved ones. It's really easy to appreciate your Furbies. It's really easy to appreciate the smell of fresh coffee being made in the morning or a beautiful flower, etc., etc. It's more about appreciating the things, the different things, and that's why Appreciation Day, because today perhaps there is someone that you'd like to appreciate. It's not a Monday, so it can't be your postal person. Maybe it's a teacher. Maybe it's the clerk that always says hello to you when you go into CVS. Maybe it's somebody you haven't thought of for a long time who's made a difference in your life, and just sending them a note. Now, it doesn't have to be random. That's not any of my rules. You don't have to, anonymously do it. In fact, I'd like you to take claim for it. I'd like you to go out and say, I appreciate you, and here's why. Thank you for being a part of my life. So on that note, ta-da. Ta-da. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I have to appreciate all of you because you have made a great difference in my life in numerous ways. And so I have for you a little gift. Now, I am not going to take the time to do a tisket-a-tasket down every aisle and every row to say thank you, but these are appreciation stones. And I want you to know they're made from Life Force glass, and they are made in the United States, and they're by a wonderful company, by a woman who, by the way, took Science of Mind classes and got inspired. So I have a whole bunch of these, and I want to start with Martha. Martha, I don't know which color you'd rather have, but you just kind of look like that pink would go with you really well, because I appreciate Martha for not only who she is, but who she has been as a legacy to this center. This is a practitioner emeritus who comes every Sunday, who has been here in service and love forever for this center. And I only have known her for 5 years, but I appreciate who she is and how she shows up for all of us. So these, Now, I risk offending people if I go and I give some out directly today and not to others, etc. That's why I'm not going to do that. But I so want to, because I could go down each row and talk about each of you. Oh, you know what? I see some. Oh, wait. I don't have purple. I don't think I have purple, but you can pick a color. Because Grandy Greenjoy has been coming recently, and she participated in our talent show, so she's sort of a new person to appreciate. We have someone who's been here for years and years and years and years, and then we have someone who's just kind of joined our ranks. And then there are people here who do, I know how to get her. You're not going to get this on camera, because Lynn Busby, who does enormous amounts of things and does not like attention. Thank you. She's somebody who shows up all the time, does a gazillion things, and stays in the background and does all of that, and yet needs to be, I don't believe in need, calls forth for appreciation. And if I really did have the time, I would give one of these to each of you, even some of you that I barely know, and some of you that I do. And it is my charge to, as best as I can, the other 364 days of the year, is to tell you how much I appreciate you. So what I'm going to have happen is these will be placed on the table where the board meeting is going to convene, and I'd like you to take one. Notice that they are in assorted colors, because originally I was going to get all green, because that's just the way I'm inclined. And then I thought, no, because you're an assortment of people and energies and gifts and personalities, and I want the colors to radiate to you. And although oh my gosh, they're so pretty. That's something else. It's like, ooh, sparkle. So I want you to please take one of these today when you can, and they'll be there, and take a color, whatever draws yourself to you. And if I didn't, I really would love to hand it to each of you, and maybe I will stand there and just dispense them, or take the one that is drawn to you. And when and as you receive it, you might want to take it with your left hand, which is the typically receiving hand. Think about receiving the appreciation of who you are. Who you are as a stone that helped build the foundation of this center that's going to be 30 years in November. 30 years, Martha. a stone of the foundation of the color and the light and the magic that each of you bring that wouldn't be the same if you didn't. So when you pick that up, just don't go, ooh, that's pretty, take one. Really, the same way we do our tithe, I'd like it to be a conscious effort. I'd like you to take it and know that you are appreciated at this center by me, by all of us, because we're of the one. So I'm talking about the fun appreciation, the easy appreciation, the obvious ones. And it wouldn't be really, well, it's part of my charge to also talk about the fact that sometimes we need to get to a place of appreciation when it ain't so easy, when it ain't so pretty, where we have to get to the place where things happen to us, that there are challenges and conflicts, that there are all kinds of things that go on outside the world and inside the world or inside our individual world, and it's not so easy to be appreciative when it hurts or it sucks out there. We need to get there too. And there's a quote that says, "Barns burnt down, now I can see the moon." Masahide. Barns burnt down, now I can see the moon. So often what happens in our life can be a catastrophe, can be painful, can be difficult, can be part of the dark night of the soul. And we're flailing and ranting and raving and stomping. And I go into my pterodactyl when that happens. It's not fun, it's not pretty. That's it, when all of that comes up. Notice I'm no longer wearing my bracelet, my other bracelet. I appreciated the bracelet for what it taught me. And I appreciated taking it off. No complaints. And the stuff that happens sometimes as we walk through the difficulties of life, as sometimes the smooth pavement or the sand turns into cobblestone, is the opportunity to realize that maybe the barn's burnt down, but now I can see the moon. Which is a very mystical sort of Eastern way of doing exactly what Pollyanna talked about in the glad game. When it's difficult and it's hard, it is our charge, particularly as religious scientists, to turn within and find something for which we may be glad, even when it's difficult. There's that long parable the monk talks about, that kind of exemplifies that. And I think the family and the son's going to go out to war or do the farm, and then he breaks his leg. And so people come by the house, "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear about your son's broken leg." And the father says, "I'm not, because now he's not going off to war." And it goes on and on and on. But that's the idea. When something happens in front of us that's a difficult thing, a hard thing, a painful thing, that yes, we wrestle with it. This is not, by the way, a lecture about, you gloss over it when it hurts. No. We recognize that sometimes stuff happens. Sometimes we thud on our backside. Sometimes we're down on our knees in desperation and prayer. Sometimes difficult things happen. And our charge is to say, oh my gosh, there's that difficult thing. The barn has burnt down. Let me find my way upright, even if it means calling a practitioner, a minister, singing, praying, and stand up and say, oh my gosh, I can see the moon. And the way that we see the moon is by the ladder that we build so that when we're in these dark times, when we do spiral down into a pit and it feels like oblivion and it feels like it will never change, we have a ladder of spiritual practice, prayer, and support and compassion by which to sometimes crawl, literally, our way back up out of the hole and see the moon. That's one of the things, one of those rungs that appreciation does. We can appreciate, well, look at this. Here I am in this mess. And find something by which to be glad, which takes us one rung up, and something else and another rung up, etc., till we are back on solid ground, holy ground, and looking at the moon, dusting ourselves off, and getting ready to continue the path. That's our charge. And it's my charge to remind you of that, or to make the path clear, or to appreciate you so you remember. And I'm going to suggest to you that as you take this today, it is yours to keep, or it is yours to give away. Sometimes people get a gift and they think, oh, I have to keep it, and if it's whatever. No. It's about appreciation. And it may be enough for you to take it and be appreciated and fully deal with it. And then somebody's going to walk by today and go, blah, 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 here, can I get you this? And you're going to go, and you're going to give it to them. And that's okay too. Or you hold on to it. Or maybe 3 weeks from now, it's been sitting on your dresser or the bathroom mirror or something, and you think, oh, I know exactly who I want to give this to. So it is yours to do with as you please. All I ask is that you accept the vibration. That sounds so cosmic, doesn't it? Like the vibration, the energetic that has been woven into this truly from the Life Force Glass people, Christina and the people who work for her, from the intention by which it was generated from me, even way back to 1996. Oh my gosh, been doing this a long time. That you feel that and know that. And that it is yours to do with as you desire. Among the things you can give and still keep are your word, a smile, and a grateful heart. So saith Zig Ziglar. So this is just a simple token to remind you of that concept of praise and raise. Yourself, others, the teaching, that which serves you. That's what's going to build you. Because remember, freeze frame that nice thing, because remember at the same time, since that's a law, that's about a creative principle, praise and raise and what you focus on grows, appreciates in value. Remember that if you're staying over here, and whoa, that's going to increase too. So we get choices. And there are days and times and situations you just want to be in there, and that's fine. I'll be my pterodactyl. Don't tell me that I should be breathing. Don't tell me that there's a better way, blah, blah, blah. It's really hard being a minister or practitioner when you have a bad day. Nobody cuts you any slack when you have a bad day. Well, what's your problem? Don't you know that we are one and life is good? Yes. Yes, I do. Oh. So if we're in that, by choice or by happenstance, just remember that you can be there because maybe there's a lesson and a value in it. Maybe it's time to just flob in it and be there, okay. But you don't want to hang out there. And you don't want to keep using those, you don't want it to appreciate with your affirmations and your story. You want to praise and raise. This really sucks, this may hurt, this is hard, and I know there's another choice. And I know I can feel better with the very next thought. I know the very next thought can bring me one rung up out of here and see the moon. So both are part of who we are, and both are fine. And we do change. There's no doubt that we spend some time over here and we spend some time over here. And whichever one you appreciate is going to multiply and grow. So the more that we get practiced in appreciating each other, appreciating the little things, or the beautiful things, the simple things, the mundane things, the other people in our lives that are not the obvious ones that we love and appreciate, that might not be on our Christmas or Valentine's list. When we begin to appreciate that, then we take it further and we begin to appreciate the teaching and the people who came before us and who we are and how we do things. How long has it been since you've thought about something that you do really well and thanked yourself for that? That you really went, I'm really good at that. And just had a moment of your own appreciation, your own gratitude towards yourself for that. Maybe even once a day, maybe. So maybe you add this to your spiritual practice. You're sitting down, Om Namah Shiva, Om Namah Namah. Ooh, appreciate. Ooh, I have a great ability to laugh. Oh, okay, cool. And then you can go back to Om Namah Hamana Hamana Hamana. And let that grow. Look for those beautiful glass stones of appreciation within yourself so that you can grow them, you can magnify them, and then you can give them away. William Arthur, and I don't know who this man is, but I think this is a lovely quote to close. Flatter me, and I may not believe you. Criticize me, and I may not like you. Ignore me, and I may not forgive you. Encourage me, and I may not forget you. And I will change that to encourage, appreciate me, and I may not forget you. And that applies to you. Appreciation, not the false kind, not the ones that are required, but really to be seen and to be heard are the greatest gifts that we can give one another. And if we can get to a place to do that for the people in our world, and then get to a stronger place on solid ground with the moon shining brightly and appreciate ourselves for that, see and hear ourselves, our dreams, our goals, our visions, be true to our word, appreciate who we are, can you imagine the magnitude and the magic that we can create? I can. Let's start now. So take a breath and turn within. And for those who are unfamiliar with that, all that means is to kind of close your eyes and let the external world just be what it is, and it's going to be there when you open again. And begin to breathe your way into where you might absolutely hear the still small voice within. Sometimes it even echoes what I say. But it's there. And if it's whispering to you, give it permission to speak. Allow it, call it forth, so that it may say to you, "Behold, you are my beloved in whom I am well pleased. I appreciate you." Now take a moment in silence and let that small inner voice find 1, 2, or 20 things that it appreciates about you. From yourself, capital S, higher self. And as those ideas or feelings come forth, just nod, say thank you if you can, or just listen with the ears of your heart to the things that you have loved about yourself, these many years, and maybe haven't said enough. Haven't said in a long time. And then nod and thank the higher self, the little still small voice, and share with it the appreciation of working back in tandem together to create a world within that will outpicture the world without, that is one of appreciation and praise and recognition and understanding and compassion and love and, yes, to the ultimate, joy. And so now I speak my word from that ultimate place, from the joyness that we are. For the joy is natural and innate. Sometimes we get it confused with happiness about something we want to create or attain. And all we need do is let loose of any of those constructs, any of those expectations, and allow the joy to be. And as we breathe that in, I know and affirm that there is only the one life of God, and that life is filled with joy, filled with appreciation. And even as that life moves forward and sometimes comes across stumbly bits or barriers or walls, it melts in the light of the infinite truth that there is the one life of God. It is my life now. And as I speak this prayer in the first person, I know it and affirm it for myself and for all of us as the one. The life of God, the love of God, the joy of God. And I begin the next part of this prayer with deep appreciation simply for God. For spirit, for life with a capital L. Call it what you will and that which feels comfortable to you. I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful that no matter what may come before me, how many times that it may be difficult or dark or hard, there is always that light within that calls forth and guides and leads me and brings me back to the knowingness of this truth. And so as I know this for myself on this Appreciation Day, I know it for my loved ones, my family, my friends, my colleagues, my coworkers, the community members, the Chico citizens, the citizens of United States, the planet Earth, all the nations, and I'm told there are now even other planets out there beyond what we know in the Milky Way who are probably smiling in appreciation that we have finally found them and recognized them as the one. Yes, one. That's what we mean. It's pretty simple. And so from that awareness, that connectedness, and that empowerment, I say yes. And I give thanks that this prayer is heard in the vibrational resonance throughout the universe. Uni, one verse, one song, one word, one. And today the one word, is appreciation. So in gratitude for this, and so much more, I lovingly take this prayer, this whole morning so far, and just release and give it back to God in appreciation for the ability to share it one another. I let it go, I let it be, and I ask that you join me together as we say, and so it is, and so I am, and so we are. Amen.